Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Two different post-fight reviews to cover off in this video, and then also some unfortunate news for Thomas Carty, whose fight was cancelled. So another relatively quiet weekend in the heavyweight division. Johnny Fisher, who was returning from 6 months out of the ring due to injury, he came back and, as you can see here, detonated a right hand on Michal Reissinger, and he advanced to 6-0. So no point really sort of going too much through the action, because the opponent, it was what it was. Fisher, still young, 23 years old, returning from injury. This was a bit of a soft lob overall, bit of a step down from his last opponent, which was Gabriel Nguema. But I do think that they are going to probably, at least for the next year, 18 months, just take it somewhat easy with Fisher, because that Nguema fight 6 months ago did show that he needs some more seasoning before he starts stepping through some of the prospect levels. So given he's had that injury to his right hand, which he was fighting with for a while and didn't even realize, he's now healed it back with this knockout. He's got a growing fan base, and especially through the back of his catchphrase, Bosch, seems to be developing a following in the UK. And I think Matchroom, which does promote Johnny Fisher, is going to make sure that they can try to cultivate his image and try to build him, and I don't think we're going to see anything tough anytime soon. But 23 years old, raw, came to the sport relatively late, so I don't think there's any rush. But this performance, yeah, is what it is. He gets the win, advances, moves to 6-0, 5 by way of knockout, and this one here ended in the second round, a brutal right hand. Good shot. Moving on, so I just happened to, because I slept in and missed this, the Johnny Fisher fight live, so I had to go back and watch it. But I did manage to, literally, I clicked over on my Sky Sports here in New Zealand, and Decilous Orie was about to start fighting a New Zealand super heavyweight, Uila Mau'u. And he bossed that fight through the back of his jab, using movement. He just used his advantages against the much shorter man and swept all of the rounds. Got a pretty comfortable decision in the end. So that was the semi-final. So he advances to the gold medal match at the Commonwealth Games, which is currently on in the United Kingdom. And he is going to be facing this man, so Indian Sagar Alawat. So this Alawat has advanced to the final here. This is, I believe, I was reading one of the two of these profile pieces, is really his first major sort of international tournament. But the commentators were saying that Decilous Orie, and this is after the fight actually, so barely a mark on him. So his New Zealand opponent really couldn't sort of do too much with him. Landed a couple of shots, but really nothing much of note, and certainly not regularly enough to get the win. But the commentators were saying that India's Sagar Alawat will be the first true test for Decilous Orie, and you heard that right, his name is Delicious. And rounding out this video, so was going to be another fight in the heavyweight division out of the UK. You had Thomas Carty, who was going to be returning on a card, the Conlan Marriaga card in Belfast, but his fight was cancelled. And I wasn't even sure who he was actually fighting, because it was never listed on BoxRec, and they didn't have him on when they put the press release out. This was ESPN and Top Rank. Didn't actually mention his weight from the weigh-in and who he was going to be fighting. So that looked like it might have been off the broadcast had it gone ahead. But disappointing for Carty, who's 3-0, and he says, as you can imagine, I'm absolutely devastated. I've put so much of my time, energy, and money into this training camp. I'm gutted to have no fight at the end. Got a feel for him, because he has obviously been preparing for this for a while, and there was some relevance and some special relevance for him with this card. It would have been his first time as a pro fighting back in Ireland, but not to be on this occasion, unfortunately. He has been sparring with quite a number of heavyweights in the lead up to this one. Fraser Clark, Anthony Joshua, a number of the sparring partners that were in Joshua's camp as well. So disappointing for Carty. And I actually heard recently, I can't remember whose YouTube channel it was on, but someone made a comment, because Thomas Carty has been managed by Dillian White, and I can't for the life of me remember who said it, but they mentioned it was a good point, and I just sort of raise it here, that when Dillian Whyte's not fighting, his fighters aren't fighting. And I think that is true to an extent. Thomas Carty needs to be out every sort of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, that sort of stuff at this phase of his career. So this would have been his 4th fight, but yeah, he needs to have a little bit more activity. So if Whyte can find him some opportunities, he had obviously been on some of those cards with Matchroom previously. This was not a Matchroom card. This was a Mick Conlan promoted card in association with Top Rank and ESPN, all that sort of stuff. So it'd be good to see some of Whyte's prospects, especially Carty, a bit more active. So what do you make of it all? Carty disappointed. You've got Decilous Orie going for gold against India's Sagar Alawat, and also Johnny Fisher. He advances to 6-0, second round stoppage. Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.